Hello, everybody. Gonna have a little coffee. Trying to keep the day going here. Welcome. This is Craig from Arms and Armor, and today we wanted to clue you in on a new sword that we're going to have in our line. It's something you may have seen before if you have paid attention to some of our past special things we've done or one-ups and stuff. This one we did 2-3 years ago the first time, based on a book of hours from France from about 1440. And it's a real nice sword. I really like it a lot. And it got a lot of interest from folks. We've made a couple of them. And so we decided to add it to our product line. And that is going to be our Sword of St. Martin. It's a very early hilt development. The complex hilt starting to take form in the most earliest part of that era. And you see this just straight kind of bent knuckle bow. Got a slight angle, a slight shape to it, but very, very simple looking. But it fits the hand very nicely and creates a wonderful single-handed sword to be used from horseback, as depicted in the Book of Hours, or on foot, and would have been the type of combat seen quite a bit during this period of time. It's a real dynamic period of history. This piece, we can get it with a scabbard, here done in brown, or we could do black or some of the other colors. But this is a very elegant little sword, but it's something that it cuts fiercely, real nice feel in the hand, runs about 2.5 pounds or so, a little under, and has about a 33-inch, little over, like 33 1/4 in the full length. Blade's about 27 inches long, and the cog comes in right at about 3.5 inches. So it's got a real heft to it. You can really feel that it wants to cut things, but it rotates around in space very nicely if it was to be used in actual combat and you were manipulating somebody else's blade and stuff in that space between you. The time period, 1440, is when the Book of Hours is dated. So usually when you're using something like that to date a piece, you have to figure, well, it's probably a little before that, right? 1420 on, say. And in France, in that period of time, it's a very dynamic situation going on politically and culturally. 1415 or so, I think, England landed in northern France, Henry V claiming to be heir to the French throne and such. And then you have things like the Battle of Agincourt happening. All those things happen in pretty quick succession. Henry V and Charles VI pass away in 1422. And so then you have Henry VI, who's just an infant, so you have caretakers running the English side of things, and then Charles VII. But this is right when you are having, this is the 100 Years' War, even though it didn't last 100 years so much. Probably, I think it was done, they figure, by like 1450 or so. And you also have things like the Siege of Orleans. So, Joan of Arc is in this time period. You also, at the very end of the period, have the Battle of Castilian, where you have the English forces being defeated. So this kind of sword could have been seen in any of those places. There's also a really interesting battle called the Battle of Crevant, and I think it was like 1423-4, somewhere in there. And it illustrates exactly why this kind of sword could have been seen coming into that period of time with influences from all over Europe, because you have the French basically starting aggressions against the Burgundians, and the French have a combined force of French and Scots who are fighting, I think, under a Scottish duke or something like that, if I remember correctly. And then the Burgundian side, they have the English allies, but they are also heavily leaning on some Spanish and Lombard mercenaries. So you could have seen this kind of influence of creating a hilt like this being seen across that entire era, from these different influences coming in and actually being on the same battlefield, fighting, interacting with all the things that happen in warfare. The reason we call it the Sword of St. Martin is because the book of ours is depicting St. Martin, and that's the saint that was, at the time of the story, a Roman soldier, and he reached down and cut his cloak in half so that he could get half his cloak to a disabled person along the side of this road to give them some comfort. He is depicted throughout history doing that action, and you can see many different kind of swords and sword development actually occur through all the pictures of St. Martin. We had some blog posts about that a couple years ago, where you can just kind of take an incident like that that is immortalized then in tradition and religion and history, and use it to study the different aspects of sword development, because it will be depicted along in each generation by the artists of the period. So, a new sword from Arms and Armor in our stock, the Sword of St. Martin. It's a very interesting early development of a complex hilt on a nice tapering double-edged blade, about 27 inches long, and is an excellent piece to add to your 100 Years War costume, or anything that is early 15th century. This would be an excellent piece to kind of show somebody at the cutting edge of weapons development in that period of time. So if you're interested, check out the website and look at the swords we make. You can check out our blog as well, and some of the other videos we have on YouTube to see some of the details and how we make things. And we hope you like this type of sword and might want to get one for yourself. Have a great day.